top of the morning. I wanted to come on here today and I wanted to make a little video on something me and my friends have been talking about for a while. And that was the power of silence, the power of potential, the power of your voice. A lot of people don't understand the power of the voice, and that's why they talk a lot of, some people would say, nonsense, you know. And there's nothing wrong with having fun, speaking for the hell of it, speaking for the creativity of it. But when you really understand what your words are, and I'd like to give you a couple ideas about the power of silence and the seed of growth, because every time you speak, you're either growing or you're dying. I'm not religious per se, but I do hold certain values from different religions. Christianity is one of them. And in the Bible, it says the tongue is a two-edged sword. And a lot of people don't really understand what that means. And, it's funny, my mother told me this example of a seed. In order for a seed to grow, a seed needs to go underneath the ground, and it needs to go into the soil, and it needs to be under extreme pressure, extreme darkness, and only then that seed can die underneath the ground. And the death of that seed brings what's inside of that seed outside and allows it to start sprouting, growing roots. And when enough time has came, that seed will grow. It will give birth, and it will start to reach the light. And likewise, right, that's our words. If that seed that's underneath the ground keeps getting light, if it's not put under darkness, if it keeps having the pressure taken off of it, if it keeps being disturbed, it's never gonna have anything of worth. It's never gonna have potential. So, likewise, what comes out of our mouth is the seed. When we speak, it's a question that we need to ask, are we growing with our words, or are we scattering our forces, putting our words in a bunch of places they don't belong, continuously being misunderstood, causing karmic ripples, causing miscommunication because we're not clear with our message. So one of the things that we could do is we could pause for reflection. I have a couple of notes written down here. I don't like to freestyle because I don't necessarily want to scatter my speech when I'm with you guys. I think our time is valuable. And, we draw strength from what we cannot see. A lot of times that's very hard for us to understand. Without silence, right? Silence is the darkness. Our thoughts, our dreams, they can never truly grow. In many spiritual traditions, silence is revered as sacred, right? It's the seed of any root, where actions are forward and where the unseen becomes the seen. There's another example that they give where they say, when you let people attach to your voice, they weaken your spirit, they weaken your word. If you're not speaking in the right places. And that's why there's so much value about, where are you speaking? It says in African spirituality, silence is not merely the absence of sound, it's the conservation of energy. As there's a proverb that says, the mouth that eats does not talk. Speaking too soon can scatter your energy, just as revealing your plans too early weakens its power. There's a lot of things that sometimes I like to do in life that, I don't speak on. I speak between me and God. It's whatever you call that God to be, however you connect with him, that's a personal relationship. And it's funny because I had a conversation last night and I was talking with my friend, And we were talking about how sometimes you might have a dream, you might have a vision, and if you don't bring it to the right person, instead of having that one pointed direction, now your direction, your energy becomes split, because you have faith in your dream and this other person has confusion of your dream. That's what we call the premature seed. Instead of planting one seed and nurturing it and watering it and focusing on it by yourself, you've now let a bunch of other people farm a crop, farm a product, try to bring something to life that they don't even know how to manifest. They don't even know how to take care of that dream. And that destroys our focus, right? When we're trying to grow things, that's all we really have. There's another verse in the Bible that says, it's Proverbs 17:28. It says, even a fool, when he keeps silent, is considered wise. To me, that's very interesting, because a lot of times, right, somebody, even someone who doesn't know a lot, if they're silent, you question, why is this person not talking? Is there something that they have? Is there something that they're holding on to? And then, sometimes, a person will start to question them or start to ask them questions. And from their response, from the emission that comes out of their voice, the tonal quality, the affluency of their speech, the way that they think, the more time that they speak, the more you can start to hear that intelligence, that wisdom. So for it to say even a fool who's not speaking is considered wise, think more so of a man who knows a lot. Think about a lawyer on the phone. A lawyer on the phone, you can't even get in contact with him if you don't have a certain premium to pay him, because his voice, his reason, his intelligence, his discernment, it's valuable. So there's many different ideas that I've actually thought about with this speech, and I don't want to go into a whole escapade because that would take an hour. If we really wanted to sit here and we wanted to talk about the prana, the chi, the breath, what these things are, what your voice is, the power, the reason, the seeding of your voice, we would be here, longer than I'll probably have time for this morning, because I have some things I want to get to. But I will leave you with a couple of things. In the Buddhist path, they say silence is not emptiness. It's a vessel for transformation. Right speech is part of what they call as the Noble Eightfold Path. And it advises us to speak only when necessary and beneficial. That's what they call the voice of reason. Right? When I aim to talk, I do my best to aim to meet people at their point of need, right? Sometimes, you don't need to speak. What's understood doesn't always need to be said. And if it's not understood, it might not be for that person, right? You want your voice to be beneficial. I'm not saying there aren't times for your voice to be destructive. Sometimes you need to protect yourself. Sometimes you need to do certain things. But when you really understand the power of your voice, you shouldn't even be in those situations, because your voice takes you places, that your hands don't need to protect, that your anger doesn't need to protect. And there is this idea of hear no. I know in the Buddhist culture they talk about hear no, see no, think no evil. I might have said it wrong, but it's along those lines. And once you understand that your voice is just a manifestation of your thoughts and your emotions, so the deed, right, your word, as some people say, your word is bond. Your word should be powerful, because they're coming from a place that people can't see. They're coming from a transformative place, a state of mind that is beyond what many people will ever be able to visualize. There are parts of you that people can never realize until you speak. And if we stop speaking, if we become a little bit more silent, if we have more focus on those thoughts and those actions, and we stop spewing out the mouth things that we don't really mean, at least from my research, we'll start to attract what we really desire. And desire comes out of the mouth every single day. So I want you to just keep this visual idea in your mind. Imagine you're in a noisy city. You're in the middle of New York City, and on the other side, right, you're taking a walk to a silent, quiet forest. And in the city, you can't hear your thoughts. You can't hear your emotions. You're really just influenced by a bunch of different factors and ideas. And as you start to walk into this forest, you start to get more and more and more peace. Because the noise, it's gone. And you eventually get deep into this forest, right? And you just see this monk. You see this monk. And the monk is meditating. He's silent. And you walk up to him and he says, ask me any question. And for the first time, this city kid, right, that walked out of New York, that walked out of the city and walked into this forest, finally hears a voice of reason. And that's because he only speaks when he benefits. He's not influenced by a bunch of different factors. And his focus is what gives you power. That's the power of your voice. When you speak at the right time, when you understand that your voice is meant to benefit, and that silence is not just the absence of noise, it's the presence of potential. And potential is your power. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that, I gave you a little bit of a more reason to focus on yourself and to stop focus on just entertaining others with your voice. I'm not telling you to become a monk or become silent, but I'm telling you to find the power in your reason, to find the power in your voice, and to let your voice be, to be a voice of value and power in other people's lives. Please, if you like this video, subscribe to the YouTube, give this video a like, leave a comment, and let me know what you think. And I hope that you make the best of the rest of your day. Peace.